back to my channel, and it is a Let's Talk series. I actually did this last week where I was talking about my break from social media. Sundays are my days of rest, recovery, cardio, yoga, and folding laundry. And you know what? I actually had such a great time folding laundry and talking last time that I figured, you know what, the heck, I'm gonna do it again. So anyway, my Let's Talk today is I wanted to talk about my fitness journey, because everybody has that aha moment, that moment where they take that turn from being, or from maybe having unhealthy habits and getting healthy, or taking steps to improve themselves. Everybody has that moment that just kind of that light bulb goes off, and I'm no different. So with that being said, my fitness journey, I cannot tell you that I was a super active child growing up. I know everybody's like, oh, I was in gymnastics, or I always played sports. I did not. I was active. I went out and played outside. But when I was a little girl, I loved playing with Barbies. Like, I played with Barbies. I danced a little bit. I did dance when I was really young, like when I was all the way until I was 8 years old. And then I had a bit of an accident. It's a whole nother story, but we'll talk about that another time. And so ever since then, I had to quit dance. I never played any sports as a child. Now, I got into high school and I was always active in music, band, marching band. I'm actually very musically inclined. My dad is a band director and a music arranger. He was also a Madison Scout. So if you're a band geek, my dad was actually like super band geek, and I kind of followed in his footsteps for a while. My mom is a private flute teacher, and then also a retired first grade teacher now. Actually, both my parents are retired. My sisters both are teachers. So we're all musically inclined. My sisters play flute, I played flute, mom played flute. Anyway, when I got into high school, I think it was going into my sophomore year, I really wanted to play soccer. I always liked watching the sport, and I wanted to play soccer. So I tried out for the soccer team my sophomore year of high school, and I made the team. Now, I was super fast. In hindsight, if I had to go back, if I could talk to my high school self, I don't know, maybe I guess you shouldn't change the past, but I think if I were to talk to my high school self, I would have said, hey Kate, you should run track, because I actually was really fast. I'm a super fast sprinter. Not to toot my own horn, but I am actually pretty fast, which is funny because Denny is super fast, and then we created MJ, and you see her on the field, and she literally just goes from 0 to 100 and that, like, her acceleration is absolutely insane. So anyway, but I was super fast, and I just had a good attitude, so I think that's probably why I made the team. I have no ball control. I warmed the bench more than I did play in the game. But I played sophomore, junior, and senior years. I loved it. It was a lot of fun. The girls were fantastic. They were, even though I wasn't the greatest player, I was, at least, someone, I was reliable, and I did have a good attitude, and I think that alone kind of helped me to have my spot there. I did letter in soccer, so that's pretty cool. But I was definitely that kid in high school where I could eat anything and not gain a pound. So I think when I graduated high school, I probably weighed about 117, 118 pounds, and I'm 5 foot, on a good day, I'm 5'6", 5'6" and a quarter maybe. And then of course, as far as Denny, so Denny and I are high school sweethearts. I'll do a whole relationship video at another time. We went to different high schools, but Denny also played soccer, and he wrestled. What was funny though is he wrestled sophomore year, I still 103, so I totally outweighed my boyfriend. He's not a very tall person. He's like 5'5.5", 5'3" maybe. I'm literally just ever so slightly taller than him. But you know, we got that Nicole Kidman, Tom Cruise thing going on, so it's like no big deal. Anyway, so he definitely doesn't have the height, but we both graduated from our respective high schools and then went to college. So, like I said, I was the type of girl that could eat anything and never gain a pound. Well, obviously my activity level, once I got to Clemson, I wasn't playing soccer, I wasn't being super active, so my activity level went like this, but my eating habits didn't change. And I mean, I used to eat like a double Whopper with cheese and large fries and milkshake and, just a typical teenager eating stupid crap they shouldn't eat. Well, then I thought, burgers are unhealthy. And once I got to Clemson, I was like, burgers are unhealthy, so I shouldn't eat a burger and fries. That's not healthy. So I'll eat pasta. So anyway, between that, and then of course, beer's free. I mean, you go to a party, beer's free. I hate beer. I absolutely detest it. But hey, it's free, It's college. Live life. So between my freshman and sophomore years of college, I went from weighing about 117, 118 pounds to somewhere around 160, I think was where I ended up by the end of my sophomore year. And at first, I think I embraced the curves. Like, I was still super confident. I'm not gonna say that I looked bad, but I definitely wasn't very healthy. Well, Denny was putting on weight intentionally because he wanted to put on muscle. He was like, I'm gonna put on some muscle. And so he was intentionally eating to grow. And I could probably still out-eat him, in all honesty, but he was eating to grow, and then he would go to the gym. And I would go to the gym occasionally, but I would literally just like go on the elliptical. I never would lift weights or anything like that. And then there were times where he was like, hey, let's go for a run together. And I couldn't hang. Like, he would run and I would maybe run like a quarter of a mile and just be done with it. I was like, I can't do this, I really wasn't very healthy at all. Well, getting to my aha moment. When did I make that transition? Well, when I was, again, I used to, for the summers between my freshman and sophomore and junior years, I was a lifeguard at a water park. Such a fun job. I really enjoyed that job a lot. It was a lot of fun. But anyway, so my first year, my first year, so I was about 19 years old. I was a shallow water lifeguard, and of course, I just continued to put on weight between then and then again through my sophomore year. And then the summer of my sophomore going into my junior year, I remember I got deep water certified, but it was hard. I mean, it was such a grueling swim. And again, just because my conditioning was totally crap, like I just couldn't, I was so tired, and I was carrying a lot more weight than I was used to. And like I said, if you looked at those pictures, you're probably like, you really weren't that big, Kate, but no, I wasn't. But the thing is that the trajectory path was there. I wasn't getting any smaller. I was just gonna get bigger. So I was doing what we call roving. You have to walk around the pool and just kind of check the water, make sure there's nobody drowning in there. And it's a very active motion. And I remember I had a rotation where I had to rove a good chunk of my day. And I was in my legs were in so much pain. And that evening I went over to Denny's. So again, we were dating, we're still together. I went over to Denny's for dinner or something like that, and I was in so much pain. And he was like, "What's wrong?" I was like, "My thighs hurt so bad." And I had blisters on the insides of my thighs because they were rubbing up against each other so bad. And so I had chafing really, really bad, and it hurt so bad. And then I was just shocked. I was like, "Oh my gosh, well, how did this happen? How did I get to this point?" And then you just again, that was where my aha moment came in. I'm like, I went from being active and doing things and with really crappy eating habits to keeping my crappy eating habits and not doing anything. And that's when I was like, I'm done. No, I'm done with this. It is time. It's time to get fit. It's time to lose weight. So Denny was super supportive. He's like, "Well, I want to get a gym membership too, so let's get a summer gym membership." And we found Charleston Health and Fitness, which was over by the Ice Palace in downtown, or in North Charleston. And it was convenient because it was really close to the water park where I worked. So I was like, great, I will go to work. And looking back at it, I'm like, dang, man, I was motivated because you've been in the sun all day long. Being a lifeguard, which, obviously you're doing some activity where you're jumping in after people and things like that. And then I would go from there to the gym. So I remember, so got a membership just for the summer, which they had some sort of deal going on. And I started going to the gym. Started just doing things like I'd walk on the treadmill or I'd do the elliptical. Nothing crazy. Sometimes I would lift weights with Denny, but I was just like, I wasn't into it yet. I really wasn't getting it. And then my mom was telling me about this Weight Watchers diet. Now, I'm going to tell you guys right now, if you're saying, well, no diet works for me, keto doesn't work for me, vegan doesn't work for me, paleo doesn't work for me, find the diet that works for you, okay? So for me, I do macros currently because I basically give my carbs, fats, proteins, and I basically can structure my diet how I like. Now that I'm in prep, my diet's pretty much the same thing every day. But when I'm not in prep, it gives me a variety. Like I can kind of eat, I'm not in the mood to eat this anymore. I want to eat this instead. I want to make a pizza. So I could move things around and make it work in my macros. Well, that was kind of the same thing. What Weight Watchers did was it taught me portion control. It taught me that, yeah, if you want to have a cookie, or if you want cookies, you have a sweet tooth, then have 2 cookies. Don't have a ton. Go ahead and kick the craving. And so I started doing Weight Watchers just to kind of help me with my portion control. And then that's when I just started seeing the weight fall off. So I was watching my portions. I was making better decisions. I was eating the right, I was making smarter decisions. And then in hindsight, there was this woman at the gym. Now obviously that I'm a pretty seasoned competitor, she was I think she competed in figure, because they didn't have bikini at the time. This was circa 2003, I want to say. And but I remember I would go to the gym and I started seeing her and I just was obsessed. I thought I was so like fangirling. I don't even know her name or anything, but she looked amazing. I loved her muscle. I loved her look. I loved how strong she looked. She still had curves. She was feminine. And I was like, oh my God, she's gorgeous. She's beautiful. So I would literally be on the elliptical at the gym. It was a small gym, a very, very small fitness center. And I would watch her, kind of like stalk, I would watch her work out, whether it was shoulders or arms or back or whatever, legs. And I'd watch her and then she would leave, and then after I was done, I would go down and I would copy her workout. I'm like, okay, what did she do? And that's when I really got into weight training. That's when I started becoming obsessed with building strength and muscle. And, girl, you don't know who I am. I don't know who you are, but you inspired me. And ever since then, I never turned back. So that was when I started, Denny and I started researching and, reading about protein and how important it is in your diet. So then I was upping my protein levels, and it just kind of started to evolve over time. Fast forward to a year later, I decided I wanted to compete in pageants for scholarship money, and I was a little intimidated by having to wear a swimsuit on stage. Don't even forget the swimsuits I'm having to wear now for the stage. But anyway, I was like, well, I better get my ish together and look, really. And so I went in the summer of my sophomore and junior year of college. I went from about 160 pounds to about 125. So I lost a lot of weight. I mean, I had to go buy new clothes, but oh my gosh, my confidence was through the roof. I felt so amazing. I felt strong. I could run. I could do anything, and I felt invincible. And I was just like, I was obsessed. I was like, okay, I'm done. This is a lifestyle for me. I made this change, and I don't want to ever go back. So then I got into the whole pageant thing, and I decided I needed to lose more weight, and I did. I think I dropped another 5 to 8 pounds or something like that. And I would just run. Like I would run 6 miles 5 to 6 days a week. And I became a runner. I was a cardio bunny. I loved running. I enjoyed running. And honestly, I remember there was a time where literally you could just tell me, give me an MP3 player, give me a destination, and I'll get there. Like I literally just loved to run. Now I'm not running unless my coach is either making me, or I'm being chased, or if I'm doing the Murph. That's pretty much my fitness journey in a nutshell. I mean, it's, I already talked about why I competed, why I went from pageants to bodybuilding. But it's a lifestyle. I think people have to understand that it is so hard. It is hard, and you're going to make mistakes, and you're going to want to give up, and people think that weight loss should be like this, and it's not. It's literally like this, but there's trend lines. And as long as the trend line's doing this, you're gonna have weight fluctuations. You're gonna have weight that goes up. You're gonna have huge drops. You're gonna have big bumps, especially for females. Hormones are real, y'all. Cycles are real. I mean, your weight will go up when you're on your cycle. Stress will obviously cause you to put on weight. So, if I had to give anybody encouragement who is wanting to start a fitness journey, first of all, step 1, quit making the excuse, okay? You need to, and I might get some flack for this, but don't make the excuse anymore. Own up to it. Own up to you're human. Own up to the decisions you've been making. Now, what you need to do is think about the decisions you've been making. How can you make better decisions? Okay? So maybe you love Papa John's pizza. Okay? I love Papa John's pizza. I love any pizza. I don't discriminate. But let's just say that, you love pizza. I love pizza too much. I love pizza too much. Okay, how about you make your own pizza? Why don't you make your own pizza at home with fresher ingredients? Okay? Take that step. Okay? Then from there, that you may lose some weight, and you're gonna be like, oh look, I'm losing some weight, losing some weight. There are little steps that you can take. Another thing that you can do, it's free. Go walking after your breakfast, lunch, dinner, or just even after dinner. First of all, don't eat too late. Don't eat at like 9 o'clock at night. Eat at 6, 7 o'clock, and then after you're done, go out for a 20 to 30 minute walk just around your neighborhood, or if you have a treadmill, get on your treadmill. Just leisure walk. I mean, I don't want you puking or anything like that, or getting cramps because you're overeating, or that you just literally ate. But just go ahead and go for a walk. Little things like that. So you've got to own up to what the decisions you've been making, and think about what decisions you can make to make things better. Now, there are several Instagram accounts and YouTube channels that I follow that I think are really great. I personally, as far as diet goes, the diet that you are going to be able to adhere to is going to be the diet that works for you. So if I will say, I hate keto. I've done keto before. It's not for me. We're not friends at all. I love macros. Macros for me is where it's at, because I'm able to eat whatever I want, and I just fit it within my budget. It's just like a budget. If you are in finance, or if you are managing some sort of financial budget, that is what macros are. You have your daily budget for calories in. If you get yourself into a caloric deficit, you will lose weight. Lane Norton is really a great source to follow via YouTube and Instagram. He can be a little abrasive, but I will say he's got a really great approach. Another thing about BioLane is, especially if you're trying to lose weight, and I'm not sponsored or anything, I've never read it, but I trust him. I think that he's extremely intelligent. He's very scientific in his approach, but he has this book called Fat Loss Forever, and it teaches you the habits and ways to get yourself to lose weight over time and maintain and keep it off. So not everybody has to be a bodybuilder, but also you're gonna have to understand, like I said, weight loss is not linear. You're going to have fluctuations, big fluctuations. You're not gonna be able to lose 100 pounds in a year. Maybe you will. Some people do. But you need to understand that it takes time. Slow and steady wins the race when it comes to that. Depending on how much weight you need to lose, just take your time and understand how long it took you to get to where you are, and give yourself some grace to get to where you want to be. So, I never, like I said, I never got there. I never got to, I never was extremely, I didn't get to be extremely overweight, but like I said, the trajectory was there. And if I didn't get a handle on things, it was just only going to get worse over time. Oh, another thing, during your fat loss journey, you're going to make a lot of mistakes. Like, you're going to slip up and, I get a cheat day. And you basically go on like a 10,000 calorie binge fest. And then you wonder, oh shit, I didn't lose any weight. And you actually, you could have put on like 7-8 pounds. Try not to do that, obviously, but give yourself some grace. Give yourself some understanding. The last thing you want to do is, oh, give up. I screwed up. I can't do it anymore. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. You're human. You're going to make mistakes. We are human. And unfortunately, in today's society, you're not allowed to make mistakes. You make mistakes, it's held against you, and you should be canceled. I'm sorry, I called BS on that, but that's a whole other story. You're going to make mistakes during your fat loss journey, and it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. Find a support system. Find a buddy. Find someone that you can rely on, that can help encourage you, and you can encourage them. Some of my friends that watch this, if you're watching this and are trying to start your fat loss journey, let me be your encouragement. I'm happy to be your encouragement. I'm not a coach. I don't really have a whole lot of training in it, but I can guide you and I can help push you and motivate you and let yourself just be motivated. Just find a buddy, find somebody that inspires you, and just do it. You have to have your aha moment, and instead of blaming other things and saying you can't do it, yes, you can. There's a difference between can't and won't. And again, I might get some flack for it, but you know what? I truly believe that. One of these days, and I am working, I have to talk to this person, but there's someone I want to interview and put on my blog that's not a competitor, but literally took health and took it to the next level because it was important. And it wasn't an easy journey for this person, but person did it, and it is possible. So with that, I'm almost done with folding my laundry. Yes! So thank you so much for watching. Please like this video, subscribe. I do appreciate you guys stopping by and supporting me. But yeah, I will leave it at that. Take care. With love. Bye, y'all.